What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you are new to the channel, I am Gold Pony. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we're in the brand new 2023 Subaru Outback, courtesy of Apple Subaru in York, PA. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. And so we're in this one today because there are some minor tweaks, minor changes for 2023. So of course we're going to be covering those in this video. And Subaru has been known for its incredible resale value as well. So if you ever wanted to trade this one in for a new Outback down the line, you're still going to have this thing hold its value relatively well compared to the competition. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so first, let me start by saying there are so many trim levels for the new 2023 Outback. I'm simply just going to list them on the screen, but essentially the base Outback is going to start at $28,395. Top trim level is going to top out at $42,295, and we do have the limited today. But as you can imagine, with all of those trim levels, there are a couple different engine configurations for the 23 Outback. First one being the engine configuration that we have today, a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder boxer engine, putting out 182 horsepower at 5,800 RPM, 176 pound-feet of torque coming in at 4,400 RPM, power sent to all four wheels through Subaru's legendary symmetrical all-wheel drive system, power is sent to the ground through a Lineartronic CVT, 0 to 60 time for this one coming in at approximately 8.7 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 26 in the city, 33 on the highway, taking regular unleaded fuel. But then there is that other engine configuration belonging to the XT trim levels. That one is powered by a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 260 horsepower at 5,600 RPM, 277 pound-feet of torque coming in at 2,000 RPM, power sent to all four wheels through a CVT, 0 to 60 time, a substantial difference from the other engine configuration, this one coming in at 5.8 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 23 in the city, 30 on the highway, taking regular unleaded fuel. And so before we do any kind of fun paddle shifter or acceleration test in the Outback, wanted to mention to you guys, there's no traditional drive modes, but there is an X mode. And so essentially what that X mode does is it helps coordinate the engine, transmission, the symmetrical all-wheel drive system, and the brakes to provide the best possible traction in off-road conditions. So did want to mention that. That's going to be adjusted by using the infotainment screen. All right, and so let's go ahead and start with doing a quick little paddle shifter test. I just want to see how quickly they are going to react for us here. So to put it in kind of that full manual shift mode, all you need to do is simply slide the shifter all the way to the back and to the left. Where it hits the M, that is going to signify that you are in manual shift mode. So it's also going to tell you what simulated gear you are in up on the digital portion of the gauges as well. Got our paddle shifters here. So let's come up with the stop sign here and let's put this thing to the test, and let's see how quickly these paddle shifters are going to react for us here. All right, got us in first gear. Hey, it's not shifting. Well done. All right, so you can tell it's a CVT, obviously, and there was a little bit of a delay to the paddle shifters, but it is to be expected. I still like, though, that the paddle shifters are on the Outback, because what you can use them for is to do a little bit of engine braking. Maybe when it's snowing out, when you're going down a hill, you can simply just downshift. It's going to rev the RPMs up. It's going to actually do that engine braking, so you don't actually have to hit the brakes, and you're less likely to actually slide off the road maybe when you're going down a hill. So for that reason, I like paddle shifters on vehicles, but having said that, they're not the quickest reacting things out there. But anyways, now let's go ahead and give back full control to the Outback. I'm just going to slide the shifter back to the right, and let's see how quickly we can get this thing here up to speed. All right, in 3, 2, 1, yeah. It's a CVT. All right, it's not the quickest thing in the world. I'm just going to be honest there. So it should be enough to merge you onto the highway. Shouldn't have any issues there, and definitely something you can get used to, I'm sure, but it is not the quickest thing in the world. And CVT, it is somewhat emotionless. It feels like a CVT. Sometimes CVTs simulate automatics quite well, but not necessarily in the case of the Outback, unfortunately. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. And so as expected, you will of course find 4-wheel ventilated disc brakes coming standard on the Outback. As far as that braking feel goes, it's actually really good. I love the braking feel on the Outback. That felt good. So not any dead spots in the braking. It's not a soft braking feel either. And traditionally, Subaru does do a pretty good job with their brakes. So I definitely don't mind the braking feel in the Outback whatsoever. But so then touching on suspension and handling, as expected for an off-road style vehicle like the Outback, you will find a four-wheel independent raised suspension. And so then as far as ride quality goes, it's actually been really good. I definitely like the ride quality in the Outback. It's nothing special. It's not like an air suspension or anything like that, but it's not bad. So it's been absorbing PA's road imperfections perfectly fine. So for me personally, I don't have any issues with that. As far as steering feel goes, definitely weighted on the looser side of things, but that's to be expected in the Outback. It's not a sports car, so I don't have any issues there either. Wouldn't have minded a bit firmer of a steering feel, but it's to be expected in the Outback. As far as road noise goes, there was a little bit of wind noise at higher speeds when I was going 55 miles per hour back there. I felt like it was coming in on the passenger side, but other than that, road noise itself was perfectly kept at bay for the most part. Just a little bit of wind noise, so again, no issues there. Touching on visibility, I can see perfectly fine out the back, so 100% not gonna have any issues with rear visibility. I like seeing that rear window wiper back there too, so I don't know, but definitely not gonna have any issues with rear visibility back there either. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2023 Subaru Outback. And so here she is, you guys, the new 2023 Subaru Outback. As always, let's go ahead and start with where this one is made. And so taking a look at the VIN, first character of the VIN is the number 4. So that does indicate that the Outback is built here in the US, at least for US customers. As far as the exterior color on our particular Outback goes, it is going to be finished in autumn green, in case you were curious of that name. But as always, let's go ahead and start up front. There is a refreshed front fascia for 2023, so I wanted to start by mentioning that. As far as ground clearance numbers go, that comes in at 8.7 inches, in case you were curious, which is slightly more than the average. I would say usually you're looking at around 8 inches or a little bit less than that, so I do like that. LED steering responsive headlights to the sides there. I love that. So essentially what that means is when you're going around the bend at night, those headlights are going to swivel based on the direction of your steering angle, better help illuminating what is around that bend, so you're less likely to hit a deer or a possum or whatever the case. So I do love that. LED daytime running lights coming with them, automatic feature as well to those headlights, automatic high beams as well. So if you have your high beams on at night and it senses a vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. And when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it then back up to high beams. So love that. LED fog lights coming standard for all trim levels as well. And then down below, you will find some silver accenting found on that front lip then. But then making our way to the side, raised roof rails are going to come standard on all trim levels. Rear privacy glass coming standard as well. You got some chrome window surrounds coming standard. I love the Outback lettering spelled out on the side skirts. I think that's a very nice touch that Subaru did there. Black folding side mirrors for the base trim level, crystal black silica finish with integrated turn signals essentially for all other trim levels but the touring, because that touring trim level is going to give you a satin chrome finish then to the side mirrors. But so then taking a look at the wheel configuration, 17 by 7 inch aluminum alloys coming with the base, premium and wilderness trim levels, and then 18 by 7 inch aluminum alloys, essentially coming with all of the other trim levels found on the Outback. But then making our way to the back of this one, rear spoiler with an integrated brake light coming standard. Just below that, rear window wiper. You do have those C-shaped LED taillights, which I love the design, love the brightness back there, so big fan of that. Once again, you got some silver accenting found at the bottom portion of that rear bumper to kind of match in with the front. And just below it all, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. As always, here is that exhaust clip. And so now, since we are around to the back of the Outback, when it comes to opening that rear lift gate for the Onyx Edition and up, you're going to get a hands-free power tailgate. So otherwise, it's going to be a manual lift gate. So I did want to mention that. Cargo capacity, once opened up, comes in at 32.6 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, there is a 60-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down, bumping that up to 75.6 cubic feet. That's actually quite impressive. And I liked the way the rear seats folded down because there's actually levers in the cargo area. It was super simple and then completely folded flat for me, so that was super easy to use. But did want to mention all trim levels but the base trim level is going to also get a cargo cover back there. You will also find grocery bag hooks, tie down anchors, and if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you are going to find some in-floor storage then as well. But then making our way up to the rear legroom, that comes in at 39.5 inches. For reference, I'm even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I have back there. Rear ventilation does come standard. Heated rear seats though, coming on the limited trim level and up, so we have that today. Get to spoil the rear passengers a little bit, so big fan of that. Dual rear USB charging ports coming on the premium trim level and up, and when I say that, I mean USB-A and USB-C, so you're going to get one of each essentially. So then making our way then to the front seats, manually adjustable cloth seating is going to come with the base trim level, but if you go with the Onyx Edition or Wilderness, you're going to get soft text upholstery. Limited trims are going to get leather seating, and then touring trims are going to get a Napa leather seating. So premium trim level and up is going to give you heated front seats, touring trims are going to give you ventilated front seats, and then premium trim level and up, yet again, is going to give you power adjustable front seats then. And overall, when it comes to seat comfort, because the seats were power adjustable, because they were finished in leather, I certainly didn't have any issues with finding my perfect driving position in the Outback. But then take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It is leather wrapped for the premium trim level and up, and it will be a heated steering wheel if you were to go with the touring trims, the Limited XT, and that heated steering wheel is actually optional on the Limited that we have today. We do have that option, so that was definitely well appreciated. But then making our way to the startup, let me start by showing you guys the key here. Essentially all of your buttons are on one side. You got lock, unlock being the Subaru logo, and ultimately it is all keyless entry with a push button start for the Onyx Edition trim level and up. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button. And so once started up, when it comes to the gauges, tachometer is all the way to your left, speedometer is on your right. There is a digital screen front and center, and of course you can control what is on there by using the steering wheel mounted controls. But got your outside temperature, how many miles you have left until you hit empty, chirp A, chirp B, pretty much everything you could possibly want on the digital portion of the gauges at least. Then make our way to overall interior quality. A power moonroof is going to come on the touring trims, the Onyx Edition XT, the Limited XT, and it's going to be optional on the Limited. Yet again, we got that option, so big fan of that. Overhead sunglass holder does come standard. Dual zoom climate control for the premium trim level and up. HomeLink controls for the Onyx Edition trim level and up. We'll find a wireless phone charger up there as well. There's an electromechanical parking brake just behind that. Just behind that, you're going to have dual cup holders, and within the center armrest, decent amount of space, and we'll actually find a 12-volt power outlet within that center armrest then as well. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the infotainment screen, because it is going to differ slightly dependent upon the trim level that you go with. So for the base trim level, you're going to get a 7-inch dual touchscreen kind of style display, but for the premium trim level and up, you're going to find an 11.6-inch vertical color touchscreen display. So that of course is what you guys are looking at right now. Bluetooth and audio streaming does come standard, but wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay also coming standard with that screen. I love that. Factory navigation system coming with the touring trims, the Onyx Edition XT, Limited XT, and optional then on the Limited. You could check out your climate control settings up there. Like I said previously, you can also adjust your X mode settings, whether it be on or off really. And of course, as expected, your radio information. And so when it comes to the sound systems, you're going to get 4 speakers with the bass, 6 speakers with the premium Onyx Edition trims and Wilderness, and then for the Limited and touring trims, you're going to get a 12-speaker Harman Kardon sound system with 576 watts. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. Oh man, it's been so long since I've listened to Skrillex. That was friggin' awesome. All right, so sound system, ton of bass, really good clarity. Honestly, the bass really impressed me, and Skrillex sounded really darn good in the Outback. I'm just saying. But anyways, so the last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the Outback in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. But if you were to go with the touring trim level and up, you're also going to get a front view monitor to add to that. But that, as always, is going to lead us into safety. And so let me first start by saying IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus, which is the very highest designation given by IIHS. That pretty much says it all right there. Front side curtain airbags do come standard. You got a driver's knee airbag up front as well. In the back, you're gonna have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard is the latest version of Subaru EyeSight. So this is gonna be updated for 2023 as well. And that's gonna give you adaptive cruise control with lane centering, pre-collision braking, lane departure and sway warning, lane keep assist, automatic emergency steering, and then with the Onyx Edition trim level and up, you're gonna get a blind spot monitoring system, and then limited it up is going to give you reverse automatic braking as well. So ultimately, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the Outback, wonderful safety. You certainly have a ton of peace of mind, especially if you have kids in the car of the Outback. You also have peace of mind because you know you have the best all-wheel drive system in existence. That is what Subaru is known for, is their symmetrical all-wheel drive system, originally developed for rally racing in the dirt and snow. So this thing is definitely where it's at when it comes to all-wheel drive. Very nice interior quality, at least in our limited trim level that we have with us here today. As far as room for improvement goes, the engine configuration that we have, it is a very slow, naturally aspirated 4-cylinder boxer engine. 0 to 60 in 8.7 is definitely on the slower side of things. So it's just something you would probably have to get used to there. You do have some somewhat boring gauges, kind of a boring design. If they switched up the design, that would be fine. Or if they put a digital gauge cluster, that seems to be the trend on what other manufacturers are doing right now. That would be great as well. And the other thing I would add to this is, I feel like I always say this on a lot of brands, but ambient LED lighting, multicolor ambient LED lighting, I think would look pretty darn good in this thing as well. And so, but that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media if you wanted to see what's coming next on the channel before it gets to YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what we do here on this channel after all. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know. I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold.